I made over $180 an hour, all on this one side hustle. Welcome back to the Miles and Points channel with Steve. I teach you how to take advantage of the system to travel for free using credit card miles and points, and even earning some extra cash in your spare time. My goal this year is to make over $50,000 and earn over 1 million credit card miles and points, all through side hustles. In today's episode, I want to talk about my new favorite source of side income: online surveys and research studies through a platform called Respondent. I signed up as a participant, took some surveys, and I wanted to give you my thoughts on the entire experience. We'll be going through how does Respondent work and what makes it different. How do you get paid? The pros and cons of the platform, my sign up and screening experience, and how much money I've made in the past 3 weeks since signing up. Before we get into it, if you enjoy my content, remember to click like and subscribe to the video. It's going to be a huge help to the algorithm. So I first want to start with why online surveys typically suck. And besides the obvious fraud sites that are kind of scammy and will actually make you pay money in order to join and do these surveys, the biggest danger of doing online surveys is spending way too much time for very little money in return. Sites like SurveyMonkey, Swagbucks, Survey Junkie, in my opinion, it's just way too little money for the amount of time that you're spending. I've done this before where I've spent all day doing these surveys and I've only made $5, maybe $10. It's a big time suck. Respondent's a little bit different. In summary, Respondent connects researchers who have interviews that they want to do, and it connects them with participants, or you and me, who can provide professional expertise in exchange for money. You can see here that Respondent is the best place to leverage your professional expertise for paid research interviews. So that's an important note, the professional expertise. It can't just be anybody and everybody off the street that are doing these interviews. You'll have to go through a screening process and get selected, which is why they pay a lot more. The way Respondent differentiates itself is that a lot of it focuses not just online surveys as screeners, but you're also doing one-on-one customer research, both in person and online. Two additional things is that you'll need a PayPal account in order to get paid, and you'll need a social media account like Facebook or LinkedIn in order to verify your identity. So the way the sign-up process works with Respondent, you go onto the sign-up page, sign up as a participant. It took me no more than a couple minutes to do this. You fill in some information regarding your skill set, and then once you get approved, you'll get matched based on some algorithm that they're running to match you with various studies to the skill set that you have. Once they target you with these surveys, you fill out the screener, you get selected, and you participate in either these unmoderated studies or these one-on-one focus groups. Once you finish them, you'll get paid via PayPal a couple business days later. I do want to talk about some of the surveys that they do, because it's important to note how much time and commitment you're going to be spending doing these types of research studies. So you can see the most popular one is likely the one-to-one, also known as an interview. So remote one-to-one research is conducted over video chat, the phone, or other communication methods. This is actually where I've made the most money and the most hourly rate. If you're not comfortable doing these types of things over Zoom chat, over Google video chat, this might not be the side hustle for you. Other things include a focus group where multiple people are participating in the study, an unmoderated study, so any project that doesn't involve direct interaction is an unmoderated study. I've done a couple of these where after I got selected, I would go straight into the test directly on the Respondent platform, do what they needed me to do, and then they would mark me as participated. Then I would get paid. A couple others where I haven't had much experience as well is the diary study, which takes place over a certain period of time. You'll log and track all the things that they request you to do, and then they'll pay you at the end of the study. Getting paid on Respondent, you're going to need a PayPal account. not Venmo, not your own bank account, nothing. You'll need to have PayPal. If you don't have it, you can sign up, and it's a pretty easy sign up process to have, but that's the only way to get paid. So one important thing to note here is that they're going to take a 5% fee and at minimum $1 off of your payout. So if you're getting paid $100 to do a study, they'll take 5% or $5 off of your payout, so you'll net $95. What's unfortunate is if you get paid $5 to do a study, they'll take a minimum of $1 fee. So that's 25%, and you'll only receive $4 in your PayPal account. So you're always incentivized to do higher paying studies. After you participate in the study, researcher marks you off as having participated, you'll get your payment within the PayPal account. What's important here to note is that researchers are the ones in control of this payout. They're the ones that market for you, they're the ones that pay you. It's not like you can market yourself as having participated. I think this might be an issue for some people, but for me, in these few studies that I've done, I haven't had any trouble getting paid so far. Another way to incentivize getting more people on board is to refer people to the platform. So I do want to talk about the pros of using Respondent, because this is primarily why I use it, is the transparency of the platform. So when you log on and you see the list of all the different types of studies that you can do, it'll clearly tell you the payout for it and how long these surveys are expected to take. And I would say in the 6 or 7 that I've done, they've been pretty accurate to that in terms of time commitment. That's pretty great and a lot better than what you could find in other side hustles. And talking about the pay, if you fall in one of these categories, Respondent is willing to pay you a lot of money for your participation as a Respondent participant. You can see software developers are making roughly $200 an hour on these surveys, marketers $150, executives $700. I'm falling somewhere in that sales and support and business owners types of surveys. So it's really interesting to see how much people can get paid out when they're really committed to providing their expertise. Another one is time commitment. When I'm filling out the initial screening surveys, those are pretty quick. Each one, it's taken me maybe a couple of minutes to fill out, and then I can just get off the platform and wait for them to select me for a survey. I'm not constantly on these sites spending time looking for active surveys and doing them like I would on Survey Junkie. The last pro of this is that there's probably lower competition as a participant than the other types of sites where anybody and everybody can take these surveys and make money. I've gotten a pretty good selection rate. I've applied for 55 and I've gotten selected for 6 of them so far. So it's roughly 11% selection rate. That's pretty good considering I haven't spent that much time doing these screeners. But with pros, I also want to talk about the cons and why you might not want to sign up for the Respondent platform. There are higher qualifications during the screening process. They have a pretty high selection criteria. And if you don't fall under one of those criteria that they're looking for, you're likely not going to get selected. But that means if you are a sales professional, if you are a business owner, which a lot of us watching this channel are, you're going to get selected at a pretty high clip, and it just works out better for you. Another one that's a little bit annoying on my side is that you fill out all these screeners and you really don't know when you're picked. You could fill out one day, but 3 days later, 5 days later, the researcher will then pick you, and it could be completely random. And there's limited availability. You also only get a certain allotment, about 3 screeners per day that you can fill out. So you do have to be selective in the ones that you choose. I do it 3 times a day, takes me no more than 10 minutes, and then I'll do that daily and hope to get picked. So my sign-up experience, I just put in all of my information. There is PII information that you will share, and you have to be comfortable with letting these researchers use. So that's another thing to consider. But I signed up, I used my LinkedIn profile, and I've made sure my LinkedIn profile is filled with all my career experiences, so that researchers, if they're interested, can look into my profile, verify my identity, and confirm, oh, you are an industry professional doing these types of surveys, and it helps me get selected much more often. Once I logged in, The interface was pretty easy to navigate. You start off with a dashboard and it shows you a list of potentially the most relevant surveys and projects that you might be qualified for. You can scroll through, you'll see the amount of payout, how much time, what kind of study they are, and select it. And if it's something that you're interested in doing, you can fill out the screener for it. The screening process was fairly simple. There were a set of anywhere from 5 to 20 different questions that they would ask. And once I filled that out, the researchers would look at it and then it would select me. One example of a project that I was selected for. So this was a video chat one-on-one session that lasted 30 minutes, had a pretty casual conversation about remote work. Keep in mind, I did have to have my camera on at all times so they could see who I was. Once they verified my participation, I could see that in my dashboard and I was paid the $30 3 days later. So how much did I make during this time? I've been doing Respondent for about 3 weeks now, and I was selected and participated in 6 different interviews. The pay ranged anywhere from $15 for an unmoderated study that I could just click through on my computer to up to $275 for a 90-minute interview. I was making over $180 an hour for that higher priced study, which is insane. But keeping in mind, it's still great to do the $15 ones because that one was unmoderated. It took me about 10 minutes or so to do after being selected, which means I was making about $60 an hour on that. If you're more specialized and you're doing those highly specialized studies, they're going to pay you even more. And the best part of this is that you're doing this all from the comfort of your own home. So what do you guys think of Respondent as a method for side income? Have you tried it yet? What's your experience like? Is your hourly pay similar to mine? Comment below. I'd really love to hear your experiences. So that's it for today. I'll see you all on the next video. Take care.